Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel, Romel Private Investigator. I'm Romel. My company is Access Diversified Investigations. And so, what I'll be talking about today, this is somewhat of a follow-up on the Felicia Marie Johnson matter. I've done a few videos on it, and this is basically the incident out in Houston, Texas, where a young 24-year-old black woman was initially believed to have been taken at an entertainment center. She had apparently ordered an Uber. The Uber took too long. Someone offered her a ride back to her hotel, and she hadn't been seen since. This was April 16th, the year 2022. So we're not talking a really long time ago, actually. As this case has moved on, it has been disclosed that there is now a suspect, a viable suspect, in what is now being called, or at least charged, in the actual and unfortunate murder of Felicia Johnson, the murder of Felicia Johnson. And that person, Chukwuebuka Nwobodo, I should say. Nwobodo Nwobodo. I'll put the correct spelling up so that you could see it. And he's a 28-year-old Nigerian man. So let's kind of take a look at the investigative process. How all of this comes into play, whether this is something being conducted by a private investigator, police department, or some other investigative entity, and how it relates to you. Now, what's important about this is a lot of very important information that I will be disseminating. And it relates to everyone. It's not just if you're a police officer or some other law enforcement officer, courts, etc., and so forth, or you want to be a private investigator. All that's all well and good. But at the end of the day, the average citizen, these are things that are helpful to know. You don't have to pay for it, so you're in a good place. Information that doesn't cost you a penny. And so I say that to suggest this. These things happen to people, and we all fall in that category. Sometimes we're nice, we're not so nice, all of that sort of thing, but we're all people. And these things happen. I don't care how much money you do or don't have. These things, they do happen. People being kidnapped, people being murdered, people being shot, people being cut, stabbed, just a whole array of things. Criminal acts. They're criminal acts. And they can happen to anyone. If it happens to you right now, okay, yeah, it's cool. Nothing's going on. Let something happen to you. Let it happen to you. You may feel a lot different. So in any event, I just say this. Sometimes these discussions, for some people, they feel like, oh, well, it's taken a little too much time. Not everything can be said in a few words. Not everything can be said short and sweet. Sweet can sometimes get bitter very quickly. So I've said enough. I think you get my understanding. So as we look at this case with this young lady, and we look at the investigative process, how things begin to unfold and get put together to bring things to a presumptive conclusion, that sort of thing. Where we start is, we start where we left off. The fact that the young lady had taken some sort of, someone offered her a ride, rather, at one of these entertainment clubs, which she had been seeking some employment. As it turned out, 2:56. Now, again, let me say this in brief. The information that I'm giving you is information that I've reviewed with respect to news media, in particular, one of those medias, KHOU 11 News. There are others. And their information is obtained by conversation with the police. Also, court. Court records and documents, as they claim they have reviewed, bringing certain information forward. So I use the word allege simply because I do not have direct knowledge, other than that which have been disseminated by persons that have been reasonably involved. So I move forward with that general understanding. And so now apparently what the police had done, April 16th is when she was noticed missing. And what they were able to do is the hotel that she was staying at a hotel, the Houston International Hotel in the Houston Medical Center. I think the address somewhere to the effect of 6750 Main Street, Houston. And apparently, as a result of the father, that being Kevin Johnson, the father being able to look at the photos, make further clarity with respect to how his daughter, that this in fact is his daughter rather, as seen at the entertainment center. So the police get a better idea of what she looks like. You get photos, that's all well and good, but it's really not very definitive because it doesn't reflect a person's gait, how they walk, how they carry themselves, that sort of thing. And those things can be both helpful and meaningful. So now apparently access was gained at the hotel where she was staying with respect to her at some point getting into an Uber. This is how it's explained and actually written in some of these news articles. So this Uber presumably, or allegedly, was ordered by Chukwuebuka Nwobodo. Chukwuebuka Nwobodo, 28-year-old Nigerian man. And it was the result of some sort of online ad or information submitted by Felicia Johnson on an escort website of some sort. And he in turn responding, the police have suggested that he had $500 he withdrew, apparently from an account of his own. $500 he withdrew for some interaction between Miss Johnson and himself. And he presumably sent an Uber to pick her up. Now the Uber takes her to 3233, or at least in that block, Wind Chase Boulevard. This is a residence within the Wind Chase Hamlet apartment homes, as I recall, and it's also the former address of Chukwuebuka Nwobodo. He apparently meets her at that address at some time, and we're still talking April 16th, the early hours of the morning, in particular hours forward of 2:56 a.m. When he meets her, he takes her to his current or then current apartment, and that was in the Link complex located at 14935 South Richmond Avenue, again in Houston. And it is there that the police believe he murdered her and also dismembered her body. Unfortunate. Also dismembered her body. Now, this hasn't been proven, but the police have more than reasonable grounds to believe that this is basically what took place. So if we could just kind of just let that resonate for a minute. God bless the young lady's soul, bless the family. It's a very difficult thing to think and actually even talk about. But it has to come to an end. Here's a person that has to be found, a person that has to be arrested, a person that has to be adjudicated, a person that has to be, let's just say, met with the full force of the law. Now, moving forward, let's look at a few things that have happened. May the 13th. Now remember, this thing took place April 16th. On that same day, a few things that happened. I'll get back to May 13th momentarily. But on April 16th, two things I need to pass out to you. One is the young lady's cell phone was found bloody in the Bear Creek Park, and also her purse was found. Two identifiers. That's something that you should know. What also took place that day was Mr. Nwobodo did attend a medical facility for treatment associated with a wound on his hand. For practical purposes, the wound was allegedly, or more than likely, the result of a fight put up between the young Miss Johnson and himself at the time of the alleged murder. Just a little something to think about. Now let's jump back to May the 13th. May the 13th. May the 13th. What happens May the 13th? Well, better yet, just one more sidestep. Just one. Bear with me. Just one. And that sidestep is, well, how did the police begin to look at Nwobodo to begin with? Well, a few things. One is the cell phone. The cell phone is going to go through two basic forensic procedures, if you will. One is going to be associated with blood and DNA. The other is going to be associated with what some would refer to as cell phone and or computer forensic examination, analysis, review. And this is where they will see who she's been calling. The numbers will show up, not always the names. And again, it depends on what type of phone the other person has. The specific times associated therein, and the police will review that, obviously. What it helps to do also is, there are occasions where you can take that phone number, you can run that phone number, and you can get an address. Now, doesn't always mean that that's the address where the person who made the call is, but again, those are leads. Those are investigatory leads, and that's what you need in matters like this. So apparently, they not only got footage with respect to her getting into this Uber, but the mere fact that it was an Uber, they were able to ascertain where the Uber went. Now, this may have been by license plate number, if in fact they got that, or it could have been something that they acquired later on in another investigation. We're talking May 13th, and I'll get back to that shortly. Now, Nwobodo's vehicle meets up at his old address to pick up this young lady. There may have been some communication as to when she got there, and he would show up, something along those lines. And again, it's an area where there are probably cameras. The exchange may have been noticed, her getting out of one vehicle, getting into another vehicle, plate number being reviewed then. If not, well, that would be the primary time it would have been reviewed. And once there's some sort of information associated with his address, his current address, then again, wherever he lives, 9 to 10, there's some cameras thereabouts, and there have been some access associated with those cameras. In any event, what it does, it puts him in the place of being the last person known to have seen her. And that's where things start to pick up. So now I'm going to get back to May 13th. This is interesting, very interesting. Hang in there, hold on, don't drop the whatever. You know where I'm trying to go with this. May 13th. Now, the way the media put this out drew a lot of question marks in my mind, and I'm trying to figure out whether someone's a little confused with something else, etc., so forth and so on. Media doesn't always get it right for any number of reasons, miscommunications, etc., and so forth. But one of the media's, a matter of fact, more than one, in their writing said that Nwobodo was in police custody by virtue of a traffic stop. Now, here's where I get a little thrown off. I mean, okay, there's a traffic stop. What did he do to get stopped? It's the first thing that comes to my mind. And the reason is because it is said that he was later released with no charges filed. And that's what, let's just say that's what stirred up my investigative and legal concerns. Curiosity. Because some other things happen as well. One of those things is his cell phone was seized, said to have been seized. Not only was his cell phone seized, his vehicle was seized. As I recall, what was found in the vehicle was a knife, some blood, a shovel, some bags, and the police do believe, or perhaps have ascertained, that the blood was that of young Miss Johnson. Also found was one or more receipts associated with items purchased at between, I think, McDonald's, listen to me, Walmart and Home Depot. A mechanical saw, among things, some bags, etc. The cell phone, his cell phone, and his car. Traffic stop. It didn't make sense. Not to me. Somebody else may not know the difference, but it didn't make sense to me.